Well, Nepal has intensified the search and body recovery operations in the flood-hit Rasuwa district. Around 2,800 Nepalese army personnel have been deployed on the ground to step up the search operations. Teams have also been mobilized from Rasuwa to Chitwan as authorities continue efforts to locate and recover the victims. So, Pragati, now we are getting information that over 2,800 Nepali army personnel have been deployed on the ground to conduct this search operation. They're trying to search for survivors, they're trying to locate bodies as well.
Now intensified its search and body recovery operation across the flooded areas of Rasuwa and the downstream districts, and around 2,800 Nepali army personnel have been deployed on the ground, with teams being mobilized from Rasuwa all the way to Chitwan, following the massive flash flood in Bote-Koshi river system. Now the force of the water carried mud, debris, and tragically people and body downstream, with recoveries now being reported across districts including Nuwakot, Gorkha, Chitwan, Tanahung, and Nawal Parsi. So the operation on the ground has now evolved from an immediate rescue mission into a massive search and recovery exercise. Army teams are moving through extremely difficult terrains, checking riverbanks, debris, fields, damaged settlements, and areas where the flash floods have deposited large quantities of mud and rubble. The challenge is that the geography itself has been devastated. Roads and bridges have been washed away, communication links have been disrupted, and several areas remain extremely difficult to access. And there is there is still a serious safety concern for the rescuers. Even today, rescue operation in Rasuwa had to be temporarily halted after a dammed link began overflowing, forcing people to move toward higher ground. So these soldiers are not operating in stable disaster zones. They are working in terrain where another flood surge or landslide can happen with very little warning. And at the same time, the army is continuing to evacuate survivors from isolated locations and transport them to safer areas, while specialized teams are focusing on recovering bodies and identifying victims. And the fact that the teams are being pushed from Rasuwa towards Chitwan also, it tells you about the sheer scale of this disaster. This is no longer confined to one district. The flash flood has traveled hundreds of kilometers downstream, and the search operation is following that entire trail. So for Nepali army, now the priority is just to find the missing people and recover the dead bodies and evacuate those still stranded and reach every inaccessible pocket affected by the disaster. And with hundreds still missing, Shivani, this
Right.
search operation is expected to remain one of the largest and most challenging rescue and recovery efforts by Nepal.
All right. Thank you so much, Pragati, for all that information. Let's get in some news regarding Tamil Nadu. Well, a day after the killer flash flood swept through the Nepal-China border, at least 85 people from Tamil Nadu and Puducherry remain untraceable. The state government says that over 100 people from Tamil Nadu and Puducherry had travelled to Nepal on pilgrimage and tourist groups when the floods hit. Chief Minister's office has deputed teams to Kathmandu and Delhi to coordinate rescue and relief efforts as anxious families back home await word on their loved ones. Let me go across to my colleague Belly Thomas, who has more information on this. Belly, if you can take us through the details about what the state government has to say regarding the people who are untraceable after the flash floods.
Tamil Nadu and Puducherry remain untraceable as of now, a day after the killer flash flood swept through the Nepal-China border, and disruption of telecommunications and power lines across the affected terrain have added to the anxiety of their relatives who have petitioned both the state and the union governments for swift rescue efforts. And besides these 57 people mentioned by the authorities on Wednesday, 49 more pilgrims were added to the missing people list on Thursday. And this group includes 9 pilgrims from Chennai who had gone to Kailash Yatra on August 14th. And 8 are from Coimbatore and 11 are from Namakkal, Salem and Erode, including the elder brother of former Namakkal MP AKP Chinraj. As many as 37 of the missing people are aged above 50, 50 or above is what the authorities informs us. The pilgrims had flown from Chennai to Kathmandu and traveled by a bus towards Nepal-China border. They were scheduled to complete immigration formalities at the border on August 27th and return to Nepal and fly back to Chennai. So the trip organizer of Chennai group, who spoke to some of the pilgrims on Wednesday night, had said they are waiting at an immigration center on the banks of the river when the flash flood swept through the area, washing away buildings and people. So more than 10 relatives of stranded passengers from Kanchipuram had submitted a petition to the district authorities seeking their intervention to ascertain the whereabouts and ensure the safety of their family members, Shivani.
All right, thank you so much, Belly, for all that information. We have now some news from Maharashtra regarding this.